Thanks for clicking. My name is Mark Mitchell. I'm a mortgage broker here in London, Ontario. The numbers came out for London's real estate market in August of 2021 this week, and I wanted to briefly go over the numbers as the London market continued to slow down for the fourth month in a row. The numbers aren't drastic, but they do show a continuing trend for 4 months of continual price drops. So what I want to do is go over the August numbers. We'll go over the average house price, the median house price, as well as the sales to list price ratio, and take a look at how those over ask offers are doing. And finally, I do want to go over a comparison for this year to last year, as I think the numbers do show some definite positive developments for the prices in London. I do plan on having an update out next week as the Bank of Canada releases their decision on interest rates. So make sure you click that subscribe button to get those updates. But for now, let's just get into the numbers for London's real estate. The average price of a house in London fell last month again for the fourth month in a row, but the good news is that it wasn't by a whole lot. In July, the average household price in London was $617,970, whereas the average price in August was $616,852. So about $1,000 difference. Not a big difference at all, but significant since we've seen over the past year and a half, the prices skyrocket so much. So it's what a lot of commentators have been saying is that we're not seeing a crash, but more of a stabilization in house prices. So not a big drop between July and August. With that said, we did also see a drop in the median house price in London. With the median price is where half as many houses were sold for more than that, and half as many houses were sold below that. So whereas the median price in July was $580,000, that price dropped to $575,000 in August. Again, not a huge drop, but also significant because it's the fourth drop in a row, and it does show an average trend towards more stabilization, a slowing of the market, not a crash, but a slowing. So we are starting to see not as much fluctuation, not as much volatility in the pricing throughout London. With that said, the sales to list price ratio did inch up a little bit. So that's the ratio of the list price versus what the house actually sold for. So if the house was $100,000 and it sold for $110,000, that would be a sales to list price ratio of 110. The ratio was actually up by 1% in August. So the sales to list price ratio in July was 107, whereas in August it was 108.3. So on average, the house prices in London are going for 8.3% more than they list for. So we're definitely not in a buyer's market yet. We're not even in a balanced market yet. We're just seeing a more stabilized market where we are getting those over ask offers, but they're not going anything crazy the way they were, say, 6-7 months ago. So we're definitely seeing a slowdown, a stabilization of London's real estate market. We're not seeing those crazy numbers where every month it's going up by $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. What we're seeing is small drops from the previous month. And those drops, while they are after a while significant, it's nothing huge. We're definitely not seeing a crash in London's market. But I think it's still a good idea to look at the data from August of last year in 2020, just to give you an idea of how far we've come, which kind of shows you that we're much more in a stabilization pattern and not a crash pattern. So in August of 2020, the average price was $501,849, and the median price was $465,000. So just on average price, we've gone from $501,000 to $617,000 in the period of a year. That's a huge increase. So when you see prices stabilizing around that $620,000 range, just over the last couple months, well, we're still well over $100,000 more than we were a year ago. To put that into perspective, in order to qualify for a mortgage for an extra $100,000, you need to make about another $20,000 in extra income. So that can kind of give you an idea how much buying power has changed over the past year. So yes, we have seen 4 months of slowdown. We have seen the price continue to inch lower and lower. That's with the average price and the median price. but we are still much, much higher than we were a year ago. So we're not seeing anything like a crash. We're just seeing more of a stabilization of the market and a stabilization of prices. As for the future, Canada's GDP data just came out this week, and our economy actually contracted. It shrunk during a time when we were hoping to see growth. A lot of this is being blamed on a slowdown in real estate nationwide, as a lot of people took the summer off from buying houses due to buyer fatigue and wanting to enjoy not being locked down. So obviously it's not just London that is slowing down. The country's real estate market does seem to be slowing down. Like I said, that's partially due to the lockdown measures being lifted and people wanting to enjoy the summer, and also due to buyer fatigue, where so many people had such trouble getting into the market over the past year and a half that they took the summer off. Most people are predicting that we're going to see a rebound over the fall, as it's actually fairly normal for us to have a slower summer than usual. Which is why I think it's really important for us to look at summer of 2020 and summer of 2021 just to get an idea of how far this market in London has come. With that said, as changes come out and news comes out for the London real estate market and for the national market, as we are in the midst of an election here, and there's quite a few housing promises that should and could have a major effect on London's real estate market, we'll have updates on this channel. Click like and subscribe to get those updates, and thanks so much for watching.